Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Urban Debate. Sharad Pawar, who has been a pivotal figure in Maharashtra politics for the last 6 decades, has given a big hint. A hint about his retirement from electoral politics. The grand old man of Maharashtra politics, a title that not even his political detractors would contend, has revealed that he will not contest any more elections after his Rajya Sabha term ends in 18 months. 83-year-old Pawar said this at his home turf, Baramati, where he has contested 14 elections, becoming a chief minister 4 times, and little surprising, his retirement hint came with a blueprint of a succession plan.
ही सत्तेमध्ये नाही, राज्यसभेत आहे आणि अजून माझं 1.5 वर्ष आहे. त्या 1.5 वर्षाच्या नंतर पुन्हा आता राज्यसभेत जायचं का नाही याचा विचार मला करावा लागेल. लोकसभा मी लढणार नाही, कसलीच निवडणूक लढणार नाही. किती निवडणुका करायच्या? आत्तापर्यंत 14 निवडणुका केल्या आणि तुम्ही असलेल्या लोकात एकदाही घरी पाठवलं नाही. दरवेळी निवडूनच देत आहे आणि दरवेळी निवडून देत आहे. त्यामुळे कुठं थांबलं पाहिजे, नवी फेरी आणली पाहिजे, हे सूत्र घेऊन मी कामाला लागलो नाही. याचा अर्थ समाजकारण सोडलं नाही. सत्ता नको, पण लोकांची सेवा, लोकांचं काम हे मात्र करत राहायचं.
So why are we really talking about a succession plan? Here's the key. Baramati, which is set to see another Pawar versus Pawar tussle between his nephew Ajit Pawar and grandnephew Yogendra Pawar. And that's Pawar's messaging, where it becomes even more interesting, because Pawar's succession plan is no different from securing his political citadel. A messaging clear to Ajit Pawar and the detractors, pitching for a change of leadership in the Pawar stronghold and urging the voters to choose the young Yogendra Pawar from the seat, almost declaring him as his political heir.
30-35 वर्ष सतत निवडून गेल्याच्या नंतर नवीन फेरी तयार करायला पाहिजे. आणि 30 वर्षाच्या पूर्वी मी निर्णय घेतला की मी लोकसभेला आता उभं राहणार नाही. इथलं राजकारण हे मी बघणार नाही आणि ही सगळी जबाबदारी अजितदादांच्यावर देईल. आणि जवळपास गेले 30 वर्ष ही जबाबदारी त्यांच्यावर आहे. म्हणजे पहिले 30 वर्ष माझ्यावर, माझ्यानंतर 30 वर्ष अजितदादावर, आणि आता पुढच्या 30 वर्षाची व्यवस्था करायची आवश्यकता आहे. तर लोकांच्यामध्ये जाऊन लोकांचे प्रश्न समजून घेऊन त्याच्यात लक्ष घालण्याची दृष्टी पाहिजे. आणि आज आम्ही लोकांनी लक्ष घातलं. ही जी महाराष्ट्राची निवडणूक आहे, या महाराष्ट्राच्या निवडणुकीमध्ये अनेक ठिकाणी, या ठिकाणी जसे योगेंद्रची निवड केली तसे अनेक ठिकाणी अनेक तरुण आज राष्ट्रवादीच्या वतीनं आम्ही उभे केले.
This comes a year after he shot back that he is neither tired nor retiring. A strong reaction again to his nephew Ajit Pawar's statement that he would retire from active politics on account of his age. Is it a political backhand, a succession plan, or Pawar's power play in succession? Let me open this up to my panelists at this point. And remember, all of this is coming amid the big battle for Maharashtra. I'm being joined by Brij Mohan Srivastava, who is a spokesperson for NCP, Advocate Suzy Ben Shah, who is a spokesperson for Shiv Sena, Anish Gawande, who is a national spokesperson for NCP, Sharad Pawar faction, and Dr. Uday Gudkar, who's a senior journalist. Thank you very much, all four of you, for joining me. Well, ideally, let me just go across to, at this point, Advocate Susie Ben Shah. I know it's. I think we are not patched. She's not there with us. So, Anish Gawande, let me just come to you. Good evening. So, what is this really, Anish? Is this Sharad Pawar's checkmate or a succession plan? Is it just sweet revenge? Baramati, Ajit Pawar, Sharad Pawar, and then retiring, not retiring. It seems like a very similar plot. What's really happening?
You know, Sneha, to start off, let me say that nobody really knows what's on Pawar Sahib's mind, not even me. So I would be well beyond my depth to say I know exactly what he was thinking there. But if you see his speech, he jokes, right? He says that every time I fight an election, I keep winning, so I have to stop somewhere. And the amazing part is that he's mentioned that the struggle in Baramati currently is not about whether or not one person has done work or not, but it's a generational sort of succession, that he was the MLA from Baramati for almost 25 years, from 1967 to 1991, from 1991 to 2024, for 33 years now. Ajit Dada has been the MLA from Baramati, and now it's time to hand the baton on to somebody else, as the tradition goes every 30 years.
So that's the interesting part. He did not. I mean, Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar have not been in great political terms. Everybody knows that. But he did not dish away the work that Ajit Pawar did. Very Sharad Pawar style as it is. But then very swiftly, very comfortably positions Yogendra Pawar. So is it Supriya Sule nationally, Yogendra Pawar in Baramati? But before I get your response to that, I have to go across to Brij Mohan Srivastav. Brij Mohan Srivastav ji, how is this panning out for you all? Baramati getting even more tougher?
No, we didn't find it more tough. Actually, it's a political war, and sometimes we have to face a strong candidate also. But as well, Baramati, Ajit Pawar ji is having quite good contact at a grassroots level, and we personally feel that it's a not tough or very hard constituency for Ajit Dada ji. So it makes no difference. Whatever the respected Sharad Pawar has spoken, being in a head of his family, he's having all right to say, and he can plan as per his choice. But for us, we are also planning as per our choice. Ajit Dada Pawar has chosen his colleagues, his pupils, and he is working in that way also. So his statement, no doubt, Sharad Pawar is a very respectable leader of our country, and we also respect him. So if he is saying something and he has taken some decision for himself, so it is up to him. We cannot say anything on his decision. But our decision is very loud and clear.
Srivastav, let's just read between the lines. And this is what I was also asking, I wanted to ask Anish Gawande as well. So Brij Mohan ji, Sharad Pawar does not dish the work that Ajit Pawar has done. He doesn't say that we are political rivals. He in fact said 30 years back, I gave him the responsibility of Baramati. And now it is the responsibility of Baramati to hand over the baton to the next generation. It is as clear as it can get, Brij Mohan Srivastava, and Baramati has given its mandate before. Not many months ago, just few months ago, it gave its mandate. This is beyond an uphill task. Would you admit to that, Brij Mohan Srivastava?
No. As per his statement, when he has given 30 years to Ajit Dada Pawar, now it is a chance of Ajit Dada Pawar to choose his person for 30 years. I think, and it is not right that the Adani Sharad Pawar ji is choosing
but he is contesting
person for next 30 years. So it's a totally a political statement, and because this is a time of election, so everybody is trying to speak in his own way to convince their voters. So it's up to him. But our stand is very clear. For Baramati, Ajit Dada Pawar is the most suitable candidate this time, and he has done a lot of work in the last 30 years. and still he is having good plan to develop Baramati, to develop Maharashtra. So we personally feel that this time the most suitable candidate for Baramati is Ajit Pawar only. So, and
Okay, let me get in Anish Gawande. Anish Gawande, I'm sure you would disagree with what Mr. Brijmohan is saying, but nonetheless, to what Brijmohan is saying, do respond. But I also want to get in another question to this, and that is, was this really about Baramati? What Sharad Pawar said, was it really about Baramati, or was it about setting up Supriya Sule for the national picture and very clearly giving in Yogendra Pawar as literally the next phase after him for Maharashtra? He's possibly, as his political detractors would say, he's learned the hard way some lessons as well. Anish Gawande.
This is Yogendra's first election, to put that heavier burden on his shoulders so quickly, I think would be a little too early. But I want to just reiterate that Pawar Sahib has not said that he has chosen his successor in Baramati. He has asked the people of Baramati to choose the next person who will lead them for the next 30 years. And that next person will be most likely Yogendra Pawar because he's standing for elections. But for the NCP SP and for, I think and I hope so, both sides of the NCP, politics has always been a battle of ideologies, not personalities. And so it's been very important to make sure that this is not a rivalry that is between an uncle and a nephew, but between two incredibly competent candidates. One who served the people of Baramati for 30 years, and the other who's coming with a new vision, a new dynamism, a new set of ideas, from AI and agriculture to a new future for the cooperative sector to a new host of investment and employment opportunities. And the people of Baramati will decide come 20th November who they want to vote for. I've very
That's interesting. Advocate Susie Ben Shah, is that possible? Can Baramati see this as two political contenders coming in together against each other and not really look at this as a family political battle that has huge stakes, not only for Baramati, but for politics and also for the allies, including the Mahayuti for that matter? Advocate Susie Ben Shah.
You're asking me or Nigudkarji?
Okay. Advocate Susie Ben Shah, this question is for you. Please go ahead.
Yes. I was wondering. I didn't. Here I would like to say is that Sharad Pawar ji is the grand old man of politics, whether it Maharashtra or nationally, and we wish him 100 healthy years in the service of the nation and Maharashtra. As far as he is concerned, and this statement that he has made is very poignant, and I'll tell you the reason why. He is the person, he is the man because of whom the Maha Agadi came together, and so far, despite the rumblings within them, has stuck together. He must be fed up of all the misgivings between the parties, how it has become Agadi to Bigadi.
Okay, I think there's some network issue, but Anish Gawande, very quickly, do you want to respond to it? How's the MVA going to be together without the man who literally managed not just the MVA but even the India alliance?
Where is Pawar Sahib going? Pawar Sahib is right here. He said that he's just not looking forward to fighting another election electorally. He's definitely going to have to be persuaded to contest the Rajya Sabha again because we need him in parliament. But even beyond that, he said he's continuing to do social work. And for him, politics has always been less about the elections and more about the social work. So he's going to keep guiding us, like Susie Ben said, for the 100 years that he's going to reach and more. So he's not disappearing from the picture anytime soon.
Okay, time for a very short break and we're going to get back to Dr. Uday Nirgudkar after that. Okay, I think I heard that wrong. So Dr. Uday Nirgudkar, if I could get you into this picture. Dr. Uday, what exactly is happening? What's the messaging at this point that we are getting? What is Sharad Pawar saying? Everybody who follows politics closely knows this. Every word that Sharad Pawar says has meaning. You may have Mr. Gawade who would say that, listen, he was joking. Sharad Pawar never jokes. Politicians don't joke. even politics and the jokes in politics has meanings.
Three things, if you allow me 2-3 minutes, I will explain in detail. First, he has
Please
hinted,
go
he has
ahead.
not declared. That kind of hint, has he given it for the first time?
True.
No. He has given it earlier also. To give you an exact date, on May 2nd, 2023, where he declared that he's stepping down as the NCP
Correct.
chief, where Ajit Dada favored that action, but the party rejected that action. And exactly after 2 months, Ajit Dada rebels the party and declares that there must be an age to retire. Will you retire or not? Will you give us chance or not? That is the exact question Ajit Dada was asking. So what is Ajit Dada's reaction on this? That's number one. Second point, which you have not discussed, madam, is what is the reaction of Rohit Pawar and Rajendra Pawar on this? If Yogendra is going to be the heir apparent of the scion of Baramati, what is it that they are going to talk about it? Are they going to accept this as the arrangement? And third question is, this is a family matter. Is Pawar going to be only replaced by Pawar? Then what the other competent people in the party, like with the surname Patil and others, what they will do? Will they not get a chance? And fourth and most important, Sharad Pawar ji, whenever he says something, it has to be taken with a pinch of salt. That is not said by me, but those who have worked with him for 20, 25, 30 years, they have said when he says, I'm going to east, you must look at west to see if the sun is rising on that day on the west side. I have a list of about 10 statements from him, which he has made. In early 90s, he said, if I go to Congress, please, I will choose to apply ashes on my body. Bhasma lagakar Himalaya jaunga. That was a statement he made. And what happened after that? We know. He raised the issue of foreign origin. He joined hands with them to become the minister. He said, I will not contest from Madha. That was done. 2019, he said, I'm the only one from the family who will contest the election. You know who all contested. There are so many things which he says, then he retracts, then he changes. Most important, and that is what we should, as political analysts, we should learn. Look, now this is the second phase of electioneering. 4 Tarikh was the date to withdraw. So now the battle lines are drawn. We know exactly what is the political map, who is contesting whom. Now we have only 14 days. Now in these 14 days, on the first day itself, he set the tone. Now today, like you are discussing, some 700, 800 channels in India are discussing, is Pawar retiring? Tomorrow, from Times of India to a small newspaper, everybody will have the same headline. He has catched the eyeballs. He has catched the headlines. Whatever others are saying is nullified. They don't have a space on air as well as in print. This is how he grabs it. He grabs the attention of the media and everything. I would wait for Ajit Pawar and Rohit Pawar to come out with their reactions, and we'll take this as a hint and not declaration. Sharad Pawar, take my opinion, Sharad Pawar can never retire because he is the master of politicians. He cannot do anything else but playing politics, which he has been doing, being with the people.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that is very, very true about Sharad Pawar. He cannot retire from politics. But it isn't about him retire from politics. His hint is retiring, hanging his boots for electoral politics, two being very different. No. His appeal comes from Baramati while he's talking to voters who are going to be in a very interesting battle, voting for somebody who has been on the field with them for 30 years. That's Ajit Pawar as one candidate, and one who's an absolute new breed of politicians, if I can say, coming in. Anish Gawande, how would you respond? A very emotional pitch, but as as you heard my senior colleague speak here, Dr. Uday Nirgudkar, it's to be taken with a pinch of salt. Perfect thing that politicians do, seasoned politicians that too.
You know, as the saying goes, when you take Pawar Sahib's name, you get a headline, and this has only proven the point. And everything that he says and does on this campaign trail will be very closely analyzed. What I do want to say, though, is that while this is an emotional pitch, remember that this is a move away from the language of betrayal and taking away of a party. I think we are very clear that that was a narrative, that was a sort of reality for the Lok Sabha elections. For the Vidhan Sabha elections, we've been very clear that we want to put forth a progressive agenda in front of the people of Maharashtra. Nowhere in Pawar Sahib's speech will you see any statement that talks about why the party was broken in the way it was or any sort of ill will towards Ajit Pawarji. In fact, what you will see is a clear alternative between voters, and I think that's a sign of a mature democracy. You're seeing two alternatives being pitted in front of the people of Baramati, and they have to choose. And that's the way a healthy democracy should function. As to what the implications will be on Rohit Dada, what they will be on other leaders in the party, I think you'll have to get the TV units to them to ask for their feedback and their opinion on this.
And I'm sure that's happening anyway, but Advocate Susie Ben Shah, with what's happened, with what Sharad Pawar has spoken, with how the party, how he's positioned himself in Baramati, is this a checkmate for Mahayuti, or is it just something that's being welcomed by Mahayuti?
I mean, what Maha does, it's their lookout. We are focused on Mahayuti. But I'll tell you this, taking from what Dr. Nirgudkar left off, I think it was rather ungrateful not to mention the stellar contribution of Ajit Dada in making NCP. Whether it be Baramati, it is one of the most developed taluka of Maharashtra. It is only because of the sincere and relentless effort of Ajit Dada. The entire party structure stood on the shoulders of Ajit Dada, and therefore you see that the most of the leaders, the top leaders which were cultivated by Sharad Pawar, have gone with Ajit Dada. So I think it would be very, very wrong to pit one against the other. Of course, that's their family issue, but I don't think Baramati
Advocate Susie
will
Ben, in fact, this is
forget
the interesting bit that you're also talking about. In Baramati, speaking about handing over the baton to the next generation, he actually spoke about Ajit Pawar. And he did not dish away the work that he did. He actually went on to say that Ajit Pawar has done good work. But it is time for the next generation. Dr. Uday, how do you look at that?
No, he said I wish him
I mean, it's interesting, Dr. Uday. He does not rub away the work which is done by Ajit Pawar. He gives credit to Ajit Pawar, but says, let's look beyond that. That's an interesting message, Dr. Uday.
Yeah, that's an interesting message to create confusion amongst the supporter and voters of Ajit Dada. By giving a credit to him, he has also chosen perhaps his heir apparent, not directly, but asking people to choose him, Yogendra Pawar, as his heir apparent. That is to create confusion and a sort of stress amongst the voters of Ajit Dada Pawar. I'm sure Ajit Dada Pawar will react to it, but I'm more curious to know what Rohit Pawar has to react to this. Why Rohit Pawar has been silent on this? That is more interesting to see. And mature democracy, someone mentioned, what a mature democracy, that you have to choose either this power or that power from the family of powers only. Why there is no other candidate coming into the fray?
Okay, very quickly, Anish Gawande, one quick response to that, Anish Gawande. Less than 10 seconds, I don't have more time. Whatever the choice has to be made, it is between the Pawars. It's all in the family.
Look at the number of diners fielded by the Mahayuti versus by the NCP-SP, and therein lies your answer. Look at the number of diners fielded by the Mahayuti versus the NCP-SP, and there lies your answer.
Others are breaking the time.
All right, okay, so that's a debate for round two. As of now,
one thing is very important. Why he has
we're totally out of time. Dr. Uday Nirgudkar, Anish Gawande, Advocate Susie Ben Shah, and Brijmohan Srivastava, thank you very much for your time. We're totally out of time. This, of course, is not just a one-off round. There's going to be many more, and closely watch steps ahead of the big voting in Maharashtra. Thank you so much for tuning in.